Yeah, man. Why does it say meet Joe Pith as in the like that's like you're introducing us to a third like member of the podcast. In the top left hand corner on mine it says meet Joe Pith. So it's obviously the meeting. And I was just like, who's Joe Pith? But no. So yeah, in my head canon there's like a third person joining the podcast halfway through. Joe Pith.
It says that on the like title address for me, so yeah. It's just that thing, it's clearly gibberish, and then every now and again it does like the fucking countdown where it actually is a word, and it's like, you're a dick.
Yeah.
Like, whoops.
I cannot wait to meet
I'm getting
Joe
a word.
Pith, like.
Cunt. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Classic Joe Pith.
I like a t-shirt.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This
is my Turtles t-shirt that I mentioned yesterday. That I was wearing
Love
yesterday
it.
and today, and I haven't washed it either. So yeah, I'm a
and
tramp.
you've still got the same Turtles undies on.
Since I was 14.
Before you were on camera, you were fully dressed as April O'Neil. You had like the fucking
yellow jumpsuit, yeah,
the yellow jumpsuit,
yeah, the fake breasts and everything. Yeah,
yeah. Wait, what?
Living my best life. I mean, what?
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah,
you're having sex with Machine Gun Kelly? What?
Oh God, no! I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. Do you know what I mean?
He's a millionaire. I'd probably be like, well, what am I getting out of this?
Suppose, like, so it could
what
be
do I
worse.
get to take the machine gun, Kelly?
I just call him Kelly with my eyes closed. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I don't know you well enough to just call us Kelly. Like, all right.
Yeah. Spitting in my mouth still, but whatever. Selfish.
So the million things that I need to talk about. Did you hear about? Well, actually, I don't even have this one written down. Have you seen about Matthew Perry?
Yeah, apparently he was murdered. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
Madness. Yeah.
It's like it's the same with Michael Jackson was like very similar, wasn't it? Where it was like the circumstances around it are like.
Yeah.
You know what's really fucking weird is I was talking to my friends. I went round to my mate Gav's and his girlfriend came in drunk quite late at night. And I was chatting to her and she'd been playing some game with her friends where it was like a game based on Friends where you ask people questions about the TV show. And she was like, oh, he hates it. And I was like, oh, I grew up on Friends. Like, I love Friends, you know?
Yeah.
So she was asking me those questions and I was like smashing them because I'm so good at like Friends now because I'm sad. But like as a kid, he was my favorite character. And one of the things that I always loved about that character was that like he was a bit of a fucking loser. But he was like funny, and that was like enough to like garner him like a successful life sort of thing.
Yeah.
That even though he was kind of like a miserable loser, but then what's really fucking opposite is that, you know, people always said for years it was like, oh yeah, he got that role because he was Chandler.
Yeah.
But the problem is he was like just the loser part. like you know what I mean?
Rest
it's
in
like
peace.
like, you know, like they say, like never meet your heroes, but it's like he never ended up with a girlfriend.
Yeah.
He basically he admitted loads of times that he basically just didn't have proper friends. And then this has come out that he's basically been murdered by a bunch of daughters because he was, you know, fucking taking drugs because he hated his life and he was miserable.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really sad.
Yeah, oh, it is. I mean, you could tell there was something like wrong when they did the Friends like reunion thing.
Oh yeah.
Like he was like, oh, I had dental surgery. I was like, yeah, nah, mate, that's ketamine.
Yeah.
That's definitely I mean, you could tell, and I mean, then he broke up with his fiance like literally days after that. So I don't know if she was like helping him to take drugs, or I mean, you obviously can't speculate, but I mean, there's theories going around that he was gonna like write a tell-all book about nonsense or something in Hollywood, or so you get those those theories.
Yeah.
But I mean, like recently, with the amount of people who have come out as nonsense, I kind of believe it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, that makes sense. That totally.
I'm just not
sense.
even sure that a tell-all book about nonsense would have the same impact now. You know what I mean?
No,
after the
definitely
Jeffrey
not.
Epstein thing, we're like, we know it's out in the open. And it's like, with that disrespect and stuff, like he's trying to come back, isn't he? It's just like, people kind of like, oh yeah, I did a terrible thing, but keep watching us.
Yeah, like I'll
class.
be back on Monday, firm handshakes and loose assholes. Do you know what I mean? Like it's acceptable. Like no, mate. And I don't love it. What I think is crazy is the fucking fact of like, well, she was 17 and 364 days old. He never said that. You're just assuming you're a big hero streamer.
I don't like that argument. They're like the cusp of legality. Yeah. It's like an argument. Like
so it's like, okay.
Well, it's like, well, even if she's literally legal, you're like, I know, but you're a 40-something-year-old man trying to shag a fucking 18-year-old. Like, that's still weird.
And I just wait till she's 20 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, a little bit older.
Like, I just
fine.
It was the guy from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, I didn't know this, but apparently like, he started seeing his fiancée when she was like 19 or something, but he was like 50. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like you're just taking advantage of someone, not just because they're young and attractive, but also because they're naive and stupid.
Yeah,
like,
well,
it's like they're like malleable because they're not even a real person.
Because the brain hasn't fully developed until a certain age.
It's like Jonathan Ross. Jonathan Ross started fucking seeing his last when she was 16. I mean, it's his wife and he's got kids and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's still worth noting that that's still super predatory.
That's weird, man.
And like, you know, I'm sure she'll fucking defend him or whatever. Because, you know, she's got a fucking mint life as the wife of a millionaire. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm pretty sure he was like 20 something, like mid-20s, mid to late 20s, and he's dating a 16-year-old.
And it's just no. I mean, like, I get, women are pretty in their 20s. I mean, that's pretty at any age, but you know what I mean? Like, and like a man would be like, oh, I managed to bag myself a 20-year-old. But at the same time, like, what have you got to talk about after the sex? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I remember being 22, talking to 22-year-olds and stuff, and being like, fuck me, there's nothing between those fucking years. Like,
exactly.
I remember one time I started a new job and some lass started like hitting on us, like aggressively, to the point where I hadn't really noticed it, but like the fucking, like, my mate was like, oh yeah, she'd said something like, I'd said something about a date or something to my friend, and she was like, oh, you could take me on a date anytime, I can do the splits. And like, I remember like not really thinking about it at the time, just thinking of it in the sense of that's like a funny joke.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, she was like, but she was just like literally thick as shit, but she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things like, in hindsight, I'm like, I should have taken her out on a date. But then,
you should have, like.
But at the time, and even now, a little bit of it is when I'm in that moment, I'm just like, but what can talk about? You're like the stupidest person I've ever met. Like, so like, I can't, like, that obviously that was just like one of the things that she said. But like every time I spoke to her, it was like, you know, someone who like was genuinely retarded. Like, it was like, you know, when someone's like 2 IQ points above having to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like,
she
having
just
to
missed out on special
registered.
school because she had 2 more IQ points,
But literally was like a literal, like, attractive-wise, like a 10. She was on, I mean, I'm not really into this type of girl, like, but she was on that Geordie show. But she wasn't like a cast member or anything. She was just, like, one night a group of the lads on that show must have brought a group of lasses back, and she was one of them.
Okay.
And she apparently like made herself look like the idiot that she is then. But this sounds like I'm going on like a hate tirade against this. I think she was a genuinely good person. Like,
she was just thick.
She was just thick as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that's what I think of when I just think of like, not all women obviously, but like a lot of like women I met when I was sub 25. I'm just like, why would a 40-year-old man be talking to these women?
I mean, so I'm fine for another 2 years
40.
is what you're saying. So it's when I'm 40, I can't speak to 20-year-olds, but I can now. That's what I'm hearing, right?
You don't. You don't want to speak to anyone.
No, I don't. It's so true. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't care. Like, my girlfriend's like,
broke up, you wouldn't get in another relationship. You just sit alone and be better.
Like, she's
you'd get some doctors to inject ketamine into you, into a bath and die young.
Like the legend I am. Not like, she's like, if we split up, you'd have a girlfriend in a week. What the fuck? I'd be single for the rest of me days, and I'd be fucking happy. What you doing? Nothing. Oh, okay. Do you want to do something? No, I am doing what I want to do. Nothing.
Yeah, because I'm not disappointing anyone. Like, no one's being let down.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's not even about that. I just love doing nothing. And when you're in a relationship, you just cannot do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Do
like,
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd be like single forever. Like, she'd move on and married and maybe other kids and that, and I'd just be at home doing nothing, playing video games and just loving it. Just like someone catches us crying and like, oh, you're sad. I'm like, no, I've just never been happier. I'm just doing nothing.
It's that thing that nobody tells you though. It's like you'll love your girlfriend, but the part that no one ever think is like, it's just that there's always something. There's always something to be done.
Oh yeah, there is.
There's always something where if you were alone, it wouldn't.
Yeah, well that's it. I think it's more to do with the fact that it's like everything has to be done on their schedule when you're in a relationship and never yours. Do you know what I mean? It's like, the dishes need done. Oh, okay. Like, no, but now though, yeah, but why? Like, I can do them later on. Don't need to do them right now. But on my schedule, it would just
do you need the dishes right now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I'm
then can I do them like 10 minutes before you need them, because that's all.
I'm like,
well, why don't you do them now? And I'm like, because I'm lying down already, my pants are off. Like,
like I've had a long day doing nothing and I want to continue that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm going for the nothing world record. Yeah. I'm at the nothing Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing I notice about relationships is that you do things on their schedule. Like it's never ever yours. It's like, do you want to do this? No. And then you're like, oh well, we'll do this that day. And she's like, but I can't do it that day. So you've always got to figure out her schedule. I think
it's a not a them thing where it's like it's never on your schedule. It's that your schedule, you don't want to ever do anything.
Oh yeah, well
because that's what I'm like. Yeah. So like, you'll be like, do you want to do this? And I'm like, I'll do it because you want to do it, but I don't actually want to do anything ever.
Yeah, I'm the same.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, do you want to go for this walk? Or do you want to go to this place? And I'm kind of like, I know I have to maintain a relationship because because left to my own devices, I'll never leave the house because I'm like, but all my stuff's there. Yeah, and I can lie down.
Yeah, that is the best response. But all my stuff is there. Yeah.
You know, all my stuff's there, and I can lie down, and no one will try and talk to us.
Yeah, well, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like if I go outside, strangers try and talk to us for some reason. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like I must just have one of those faces where like if I'm like stood in a queue somewhere, like someone will start trying to make small talk with us.
Yes, happened to me yesterday.
Like, well, I don't ever want to like how like. I mean, I'm quite colourful today. It's in like I've got like a fucking bright shirt on and stuff, but like normally I'm dressed in fucking black. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just like, what part of someone dressed head to toe in black makes you think that person would love a chat?
Yeah, you know? Yeah, man. It was my cheap meal yesterday, so I got fish and chips. Still, I got a lot of protein, but I was at the chip shop on my own, and crying, yeah. And there was a bloke like, "Are you in the queue, mate?" I was like, "Oh no, I've already been served." And like for me, that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
But then he was like making jokes about like the drinks, and I was like, "Yeah, aye." And then, like, do you know that laugh you do? You're like, ha ha ha, just fucking die now, please. Leave me alone. Like, like, he opened the fridge and was like, oh, I'm going to stand in here so it's nice and cool. I was like, ha ha ha. And then I just walked away. I was just waiting outside. Because I was just having none of it. I genuinely hate people. I love talking to you, do you know what I mean? But, like, if you're like, can I come over every day? I'd be like, no, please don't. Just no.
Yeah, I don't know how people do. It's one of those things, like, I think I used to always think, oh, I'm missing out as a kid. Yeah. Because, like, I was thinking, like, you know, like, there's some people, like, it's because me and you in particular, I think, because we're so much such TV and movie lovers and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I think of, like, you know, like, the childhood group of friends who kind of live at each other's house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I'm like, oh, I missed out on that because I never really had a friend group who, but then I think back in my 20s and, like, Gav did try that with us for quite a while. Where, like, there was a period of time where we were working evenings at this fucking office or whatever, so we weren't starting till like 4 in the afternoon. And because I'm like ADHD, I'm like wide awake late at night, and then it's like, you know, I don't go to sleep till like 3 or 4 because my mind's fucking going. So then I'm asleep through the day, really, you know what I mean? But there was the thing of like he was always trying to get us to do stuff or like coming around the house to try and be like, oh, you're coming to do stuff sort of thing. You know what I mean? And he sharp learned that just doesn't work with me. Like my mum will let you in and you can come and fucking sit in the house or whatever. But like when I lived at home and stuff, but like I'm still not going to get up and do stuff. I'd be like, why are you here? I'm sleeping.
What are these things you keep talking about?
Well, I was just thinking we'll go to fucking the like shopping centre and mooch about. And then I'm like, fuck off, get out of the house.
No, I get that. Like, do you want to go for a walk to the Wall's End and we'll buy things? I'm like, no, I'll just not.
He's like, obviously don't get us wrong. He's one of my best friends in the world. I love him, but like, he's like that. You know what I mean? He's a proactive person or a doer or someone, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wants to do stuff most days. And like if he was left to his own devices, like in the evening he'd chill, but like left to his own devices, he'd potter about, you know what I mean? Like, so like through the day, given the choice, if I didn't have anything on, I'm like, I don't have anything on. Oh, I'm going to lie down and play video games or watch something. Or he's like middle of the day, he'd be like, I'll go potter about him. That the grass does need cut and like start doing things.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
So he's a normal human then.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't.
Maybe it's just he's not depressed.
Do things. Well, yeah, that as well. Like, you know what I mean?
That's it, yeah. I mean, I'm going out on Monday night to see Aliens with my mate Paul, and I'm miserable. I'm just like, ugh. 8:10 on a night time, I have to go out.
Yeah.
And sit in a packed theater or cinema, whatever you call it. Like, no thanks.
That's another thing as well, though. Like we talk about all the time. Like obviously, I went to see Longlegs. Like you'd seen it as well.
Yeah.
Like I want to see the films, but I don't want to go to the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
I like
don't
to
want
go during the day where there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So I do it then. But yeah.
I don't want to steal the films because like I want to support films that I like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't actually want to be someone who steals films.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like an indictment of people who steal films. I just personally like the real part of it is it's snobbery on my part. Like I don't know someone who can sort us out with something, and I want high quality. So like, if I'm stealing films, I want them in 4K. I don't want to watch a cam recording.
Yeah.
I've got a really good TV. I want to watch it in 4K. I want to watch it with the fucking full HDR and it looking crisp as fuck on the OLED. Like I want it to look good. So that's the only thing when it's like a certain film like Longlegs, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go and see that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't want to because I don't want people and I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I'm also just like, and it's a me thing as well, as I'm also just annoyed as well.
Mm-hmm. All the time, like me.
Well, went to see so I went to see Longlegs and there was like only had like 4 other people in, and 2 of them sat in our row.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, when we booked, there was nobody else booked. So I'm like, so you chose the same row as us?
Yeah.
Because you choose your seats. I literally worked in cinema for years. There's no way around it. They chose that row.
Yep.
100%. They chose it at the till or they chose it online, but they chose the row with us in. And then the guy gets his phone out. And fortunately, I was lucky that he didn't end up going on it on his during the movie, but it was during the title card where it literally tells you the age rating and it said Longlegs. And Lottie had to put a hand on me and she's like, just let it go. Because she knows how, because I get so annoyed because I've got ADHD, so I'm distractible. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it doesn't matter how low your brightness is. If I'm in the same row and your phone's lit up, it's light in the corner of my eye and my eye's drawn to that. So like immediately, it's that thing of like, I don't know if like most people don't do this. And one of the people when I worked in an office pointed this out was, my eyes are almost motion activated. So anytime someone just walks past in the office, I don't give a fuck what they're doing, but I have to look at them. Like my eyes will like just sees movement, it'll automatically look at movement. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's just like that light, I'm like, nothing that I can do right now. I have to fucking
yeah, man. I get it. Yeah.
People.
Yeah. The same happened for us when we went to see Longlegs because again there was like 6 people and they all chose to sit in the back row and I'm like, but why? There's 5 other. Like it was just the small screen. It was like 5 rows as well. Just sit in the next one down. But now I had to sit at the back, and that just annoyed me. But what did you think of Longlegs anyway?
So well, I thought I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's one of those films that I feel like I've got super low standard for movies. So like, you know what I mean? Like I love corny old movies, and I love movies that people think are shit. Like I'll still derive quite a lot of enjoyment from like a stinking movie. Yeah, like Street Fighter. Like I love it. You know what I mean? But it's shit. But I love it. Mm-hmm. So like I'm a lot easier to placate than most people. Yeah. So for me, it was like I did love it, but I think based on the marketing, depending on who you are as a person and like what you're expecting out of a movie, I can understand the disappointment. Yeah. Yeah. So like, we'll just fucking let's just say heavy spoilers because I don't give a fuck at this point because it's been so long. Not that there's anything I want to particularly spoil outside of just the twist being it is actually supernatural. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. I think that there's 2 things. It was marketed as a horror film and it's really a thriller that just happens to be supernatural. Like it really isn't jump scary or like there is a few moments where there's a loud fucking bit of music and it cuts to like like the fucking doll and the eyes are lighting up kind of underneath the doll and you're like and you're like, oh fucking hell. But mostly it's just a slow burning kind of cop thriller where they're just trying to track down a killer. That's kind of what it is, and then the twists are that it's supernatural. But the marketing was just so good for it. Like people just thought it was going to be like the scariest movie ever. It just isn't really scary. It's like more like it's shocking or
I wouldn't even say it was shocking. It was definitely weird. Like I really liked it. I didn't like the twist. I think it would have been better if it was just Nicolas Cage and the spoilers, the detective's mother, and the only reason she killed was because it would stop him from killing her. Mm-hmm. But then it turned out to
I would have preferred it not be supernatural.
Yeah. But my partner, she hated it. People were laughing in the cinema, like when Nicolas Cage was on
So that's the problem
screen.
is people who are like casual horror fans, they expect a certain thing, and I've said this in other podcasts, like where obviously having worked at cinemas, a packed horror screen is the worst screen to deal with.
Right.
Like that's the auditorium you're going to go to the most. You're going to get the most complaints out of. The most people will be on their phones. The most people will be talking. Like there's just something about horror where there's like a subset of people who just like, that's the silly date movie, and they're going for like, it's like a roller coaster. That's like, that's how they view it. They view it as like, I'm going to be fucking freaked out, blah blah blah. And it's like, nothing scares me in movies now.
Yeah.
So like when I'm watching a movie, I'm just not. You're not gonna scare us. Like I know that the loud noise, at best you might get a jump because the noise was so loud it hurt me ears.
Yeah.
And that only happens in cinemas. That doesn't happen at home because I control the volumes.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like sometimes you might get a ding, and you're like, oh fucking hell, that fucking was piercing. But that's about it. You'll get out of us maybe. So people are going in there expecting like fucking The Conjuring or The Nun, which is a very jumpy movie.
Yeah.
And what they got was like a really slow-paced, methodical, basically thriller where it was like just cracking this case, and it was like an episode of fucking, I don't even know what's the one where they crack a case every fucking week.
True Detective or something. I don't know.
Like True Detective, it's like fucking I don't know, CSI or something. Yeah. It's just like, or like even it's like Sherlock Holmes. She was basically just slowly cracking this case, and then just. You're slowly getting snippets of the killer, and he's very charismatic, and weird.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I love Nicolas Cage, so I loved his moments. But like everyone, including me partner, were like, "What the? Why does he look like that? Why is he? Why?" And they were just laughing every time he was on screen. Like apart from the moment where like he headbutts the table and says, "Hail Satan!" Like everyone was just laughing at him. And I mean, I wasn't, because I know what Nicolas Cage can do when he gets crazy. These are the things he does.
I think this is the problem. Is like I felt like. I like to say I really enjoyed the movie. I don't think it's going to be like one of my all-time movies, but it is something I would watch every year. Like I really like, I'll own it, and I really enjoyed it. But I think it's what's the kind of fucking word? Have you heard of David Lynch?
Yeah,
where the director, you know, like where it's like it's just intentionally weird, and like it's that kind of thing. It's like a certain type of person really needs the film to be literal, and then other people can have it be fucking kind of everything's a mystery. And the problem is the people who need to be literal, they're like, why the fuck's his face like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, because he's unhinged and evil, and you don't know what the fuck he's done. And has he done work to try and make himself look beautiful? Or is he trying to make himself look more desirable to the devil? Or is he trying to become unrecognizable? Like, it's for your interpretation. But someone who fucking is there for the roller coaster is not there for the nuance.
Yeah.
So they're just like, why is his face like that? I don't get it. He looks like Michael Jackson with white hair. And it's like, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But like,
it's
that thing, and but I'm also not on this. I'm not on the side of pretentiousness where it's like, well, if you didn't get it, then you're wrong. Like, nah, it's. But what I think was really powerful and a testament to their success is that they were able to market it to the fucking roller coaster horror crowd where they went to see it.
Yeah,
it built such hype that everyone wanted to see it. Even though it disappointed a massive portion of the audience.
Man.
But they don't care because they're laughing all the way to the bank. You know what I mean? It made like 100 million or something, and it was only cost them like something 10 or something to make.
Insane.
It's like, the thing what's weird though is people keep going, oh, it only cost something to make, and like this is like such a good thing for horror. I'm like, all horror's like that?
Yeah.
All horror is cheap to make.
Oh yeah, well that's it.
It was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like there's a million. There's probably an example nearly every single year of a 10 million to 20 million horror that made 100 million.
Oh,
every single year, because horror is what people, because roller coaster horror enjoyers, but they're going for the ride.
Well, that's it, yeah.
So it kind of doesn't matter. What did I watch recently? That was really shite, but that was really classic roller coaster. Oh, it was Night Swim came on to Sky. Did you see that?
God.
Fucking shite.
Oh my God. Just don't go in the pool.
It's just so shite.
It was just a haunted pool. The house didn't get haunted in any way. Stop swimming in the pool when weird shit happens. Cover it over. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crap.
Nah, no. Just no.
What was that? It was James Wan. What was the one where it was James Wan where it was based on a short movie, and then that short movie, he played it at the start of the film, and then the rest of the film there was just now else around it. Anyway, so the short movie is a lass looking down like a corridor inside a building.
Oh, Lights Out or something.
Lights Out, that's it. Yeah, Lights Out, and flicking the light off and it coming closer. So that was like a short video, and then he was like, I can turn that into a movie. And then the opening of the movie is exactly that fucking recreated. Yeah. And then there's no movie around it, really. Like, there's now beyond that, you know what I mean? Like, there is a story that it's a ghost haunting or whatever, and like, but it's just fucking... Yeah. When she drives... in Night Swim, when she drives to the fucking old lady's house to get the backstory, and you're seeing the shots, which, you know, like you're seeing the really classic cinema shots of like a drone or a fucking helicopter looking at the car driving across a bridge. I was like, oh, look, it's the part, like, saying this a lot. Like, it's kind of like The Ring. I'm like, it's the part of the movie where they do the research.
Yeah.
It's the research bit. It's just like, you know what I mean? It was like all the tropes. Yeah. It was just
I mean, I love those bits. Like, I'm like, I can't wait to find out the history of this, and it's just like, well, like bad stuff happened in the pool.
What they call, they go to a fucking library and they're doing projectors and they see old news clippings and they're like, oh, what's news clippings?
This is the good stuff.
They're about to find out who lived in the house.
Yeah. Ridiculous. And like the dad's like possessed. He's like, Marco, as if someone's gonna go, Polo, I'm over here, dad, killers, get that axe. Yeah. Like, nah,
I think that's another thing that was shit about it though, was I think they just went too far with that. I didn't like the dad being possessed, to be honest. I thought that, and then him trying to kill the daughter in the house, I just thought it was stupid. Yeah. And then, like, the graphics for, like, the kind of black fucking talk coming out their eyes or whatever, like, same with, like, the Asian lass where she's, like, crying, like, dark water or whatever, and, like, she's like, oh, no, like, I was just like, this is, like, it's not scary. Like, they did a part where, like, she turns around slowly and she's got, like, the black tears running down her face and just, like, smiling and saying something unhinged about the house or whatever. And it was, like, not scary. Like, obviously, I don't really get scared anyway, but like, I mean, it was just like,
it's not even creepy.
Who would be fucking scared? Like, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, it literally was just like an older Asian woman. Like she was just like, and like, not unattractive but not gorgeous. Like, she was just an Asian woman. I was like, you're like quite classically attractive, an older lady though. And you've just got black tears coming out your face. I'm like, what's scary about this? Like, you're adorable. Yeah. You know what I mean? You look like someone's nan.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
It's like someone's nan going like, oh, I've got some black tears. And you're just like, Dad, what you like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
supposed that's meant to be scary.
Like, the logic made no sense to me. Like, because they were getting pulled under the water by, like, monster, goblin, ghosts, whatever. And they were like, well, do you know what I'll do? I'll go have a swim about it. Like, no, mate, that's where the issue is. Just cover the pool. Cement that bitch and move on.
The problem was they were doing like multiple people as well, so it was like multiple people haunted the pool because it was like anyone who died in the pool. Mm-hmm. The only bit that was creepy, I don't think it was scary, but the only bit that I liked was when there's like the vent in the pool and the kid's fucking toy goes down it, and it was like, I was like, this was coming to that. I was like, hiya, Georgie, because it was like, you know, basically Georgie. Like the fuck, yeah, and it was like, he goes and gets a toy and it's got the girl's hair wrapped around it. I was like, oh, that's really creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, but you know what I mean. I'd be in that pool. I'd be wrapping it around me. I'd be going like hands free. I'd be like, pull more, pull harder,
pull, bitch. Yeah, but like to me, that sounds like Night Swim. Sounds like a sci-fi movie. Do you know the Sci-Fi Channel? Yeah, like it's like low budget, cost just $1 million.
Sounds low budget.
It's got Steven Seagal in somehow, and he's sat in a chair just mumbling his lines.
It's very much it's like a gimmick movie, isn't it? It's like he has. What's the gimmick? The gimmick is there's a pool.
Yeah, like someone wrote that and then they were like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but just
I feel like it was like I feel like you've got like a board and you're just like writing there like, what are all the things that could be scary in the house? And they're like, a haunted slide.
Yeah.
An aggressive swing set.
Well, that's it, yeah.
And they're just like crossing them out and someone's like, a haunted pool. And they're just like, that's the one, boys. We've got another one. We've just done it. We've done it again, boys.
Print money, boys. Like, I get, like, you know, when it's a haunted house movie, I'm like, well, all our money's in that house. And realistically, if my house was haunted, I don't have anywhere to go. So that's why they stay. But they just kept getting back in the pool.
But the thing is, as well, is I agree with that sentiment 100%, but more them than us. Like, if my house is haunted, like me and you are fucked. Like, I haven't got the money to go somewhere else. They did.
Oh yeah, well
they were loaded.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the end, she's like, "Oh well, we could move," and they're like, "Nah." Then it'll just happen to someone else, so they just fill the pool in. Yeah. And I'm like, that made no sense because I'm like, if you fill the pool in, then you can move because it won't happen to someone else because you filled the pool in.
Just like leave a note. Do not Do not get the pool. Do not open the pool. Do not.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't even be an issue, even if they did, because the problem with the pool was that it was water coming from like the local lake. So if they just changed the filter from the fucking pool to be like a regular pool, like everyone else's pool, where you manually fill it and you manually put the chlorine in, like it wouldn't have been haunted.
Yeah. So they didn't even have to fill the pool. They just
didn't even need to fill it in. They just needed to fill in the tube from the fucking lake.
That's it. Yeah. Jesus Christ. What? 10 out of 10. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was just a movie where I'm like, there's plots falling very fast. Like it's coming around them really quickly. Like they're drowning in their own fucking
it was
exposition.
Shit. Like, I mean, I love a bad horror. Do you know what I mean? I've seen all of the Wrong Turn movies, and there's like 6.
They're great though. I like them.
And like,
I mean, they get objectively worse.
They get objectively worse, but I love them. Like the last one is literally just incest porno, and I'm not exaggerating. Like this guy leaves a mental hospital.
You got us to watch them, but I think I only watched 3 of them. Like,
yeah. Oh well, they're awful. Like the last one, the monsters or whatever.
The wrongest turn.
Yeah, the wrongest turn. They've got a B&B. Do you know what I mean? And like this man goes, and the twist is that like the woman he meets there as his sister, and they just keep banging and making these like inbreds, and all the other inbreds are like around them, like making weird noises while they make love, and that's how it ends. And I'm just like, when's the next
10 out of 10, watch that again.
Yeah.
I mean, more Wrong Turn.
They get objectively worse, but I love them. But if you do bad horror right, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? Night Swim
it's
was
weird
just
because there's a fine line between bad horror and it's like, but I'll watch it again. I won't watch Night Swim again.
No.
You know what I mean?
If they make a sequel, it needs to be Night Swim, but they change the M to an N and then put a G at the end, so it's Night Swing, and it's just a haunted swing. Like the water got into the swing, and there's a little bit of rust there.
Yeah.
And every time someone uses the swing, they just get possessed and shit.
Yeah.
And I'd watch that.
It would be funny if you just did a load of things and it was just a possessed god name.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the possessed lawn dart. Yeah. Whoa, night dart. All right, like what else could it? You know what I mean? Like,
saw.
Yeah. What else has got? What are the hose? Night hose.
Yeah,
like it's just got to be like. But it's got it. The pitch is very B movie.
Yeah,
but it's just.
It was
just too constricting. Yeah. It was too constricting of a pitch.
Yeah, it should have been like
the pool.
Stupid. Do you know what I mean? It should have been like over the top, cheesy, and new. But it wasn't. It was like they took it all seriously, and I was just like, this is not what it should have been. Like, have you seen *Malignant*?
No, I haven't. I know what it is. But
right, you watch that because that has got third act twist. I was like, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
Because if you know what the word malignant means, you'll know what it is. But I was like, holy shit, this took a left turn, but it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's class. I was like, James Wan knew what he was doing, so definitely check that one out. It starts
I think
off
that's
serious.
the problem. That's the problem with James Wan, though, isn't it? Where it's just like it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then sometimes it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Well, we're just talking about Longlegs. That director is it Osgood
Perkins,
yeah. Like he's announced his next one, and it's executive produced by James Wan.
Right.
And the story it's based on is a Stephen King short story as well. I think it's called
The Monkey or something. Yeah,
The Monkey. Yeah. So that could be good because obviously Longlegs built a lot of hype. I think the problem is like I'm not for me and you. It's saying like them doing in the trailer from the creator of Longlegs.
Mm-hmm.
That for me, I'm excited, but then for the crowd who went to see Longlegs and were really disappointed, they might see that on the trailer this time and be like, "Oh, I hated Longlegs, so why would I go and see it?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm only seeing the new Alien because it was like from the director of the Evil Dead remake, and the Evil Dead remake was good.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm like, sign me up. But then also it got amazing reviews. So like. One of the best reviews I've ever read for anything was like literally talking about being fucked in the ass. Like that's how the person felt. Like I shared it on Twitter, but like I was like, that's the best review for anything ever.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it, but also
I love Evil Dead Rise as well.
Yeah,
like,
so do I.
Evil Dead Rise is so fucking good. I've watched it so many times already. That's like actually insanely good. But yeah, well, I mean, Alien, it's such a straightforward formula that. It's shocking that they fucked it up
so many times. It's like
so many times in the later, like
and Terminator.
And I think that's why Prey worked because Prey went a lot back to basics. Like it's a very simple film.
Yeah, I love Prey.
And that's all that Alien needs to be is a very simple film.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when you get to, it's the same you say it with, like, you know, like the Freddy and Jason. Like at that point, it's just like, oh, like Jason X, and like you're just being silly. Like stop making it silly and go back to it just being.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone hated fucking Halloween Ends, like the Halloween remakes,
awful.
like Halloween. The first Halloween remake is a really fucking straightforward, like kind of non-story story. You know what I mean? Like
it just continues that story, and it worked. The second one,
and then
was just
the second one was shite.
Yeah, I liked half of Halloween Ends, but then it wasn't about.
I liked Halloween Ends. Like I genuinely do like Halloween Ends, and everyone hates it. But it's because, but I didn't want Halloween Ends. So like, much like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, like like I love Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but that's not what anyone wants.
Yeah, no.
So it's just like. It's not that you can't. So that's quite a good story, but like I don't go and see a Halloween film to not see Michael Myers, and it's like the whole story of this kid going fucking off loose and the fucking evil taking him, and that I actually thought it's a good story, but it's like it was a good story like if it wasn't a Michael Myers film,
well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it wasn't a mainline entry to the end of a Halloween trilogy, like if it was like a different killer.
Yeah.
And it was him slowly becoming possessed by whatever the local town killer was.
Yeah.
That would, like, if you did that exact story, but it was somebody else.
Yeah.
But someone with the same history as Michael Myers, but it wasn't Michael Myers, it'd probably work.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I think they're trying to imply that it's the town that turned Michael into what he was, and then that's why I didn't.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I understand that, and I do like it, but at the same time, I'm like, this is not a Halloween film until the last.
But
20
this
minutes.
isn't what we want.
Yeah, this isn't what we want. But
the irony that they did a Halloween 3, you know what I mean? They basically did another Halloween 3. I'm like, this film's what's this got to do with anything?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
But I mean, at least Michael Myers was in it versus Season of the Witch.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's it. Yeah, and I mean, people said it was shit, but like that's fair enough. But speaking of shit, like Katie Price, like what was. I'm sorry for bringing it up, but like,
I came with my mates last night. We fucking mate Mark and fucking Nathan, and I said, "Oh, did you see the Katie Price thing?" They were like, "No."
Lucky them.
I'll send you, boys. What for anyone who doesn't know, Katie Price is like a glamour model in the UK, and for some reason, and that was like 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah,
no, 20 years ago.
Yeah, sadly,
we were like teenagers. Yeah. So like, and she was like a fucking glamour model then, and then she was obviously like desperately clinging onto our youth by getting loads of surgery and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she's in serious debt, isn't she? She owes HMRC ridiculous amount of money, like fucking $500,000 or $750,000. And then the pictures come out where she's basically been shat on.
Yeah.
And some guys like paid for that.
Like, I mean, don't get us wrong. Like, I think she's a great mother to our son Harvey, but she's just a terrible at making decisions for anything else. Like a plastic surgery, she looked really good. Do you know what I mean? But I think she doesn't have people around her who will tell her no, and I think that's our biggest problem. She'll get boyfriends who are like, "Yeah, do what you want," because they're along for the ride, so they can take the money. And I think that's wrong. She needs some stability in her life.
That's just what happened with fucking Matthew Perry.
Yeah, well,
it's exactly the same thing. It's like, unfortunately, when you've got fuck you money, people aren't going to say no to you because it's easier for you to. Yeah, they don't want the money to stop. But even before they've even got the fucking thing, they're like, they have to be yes man, because otherwise, if you push them away, they go back to being obscure and poor again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you're there,
so
you're there fucking
ride the coattails. Yeah,
and it's that thing of like, there's no one around her, but like there's no one around most people who are new money. That's the thing. Well, she's new money. She came from nothing, and people who are new money, you don't have loads of rich support groups around you, and you say it all the time. People who are new money, their family is the one who sucks them dry.
Yeah,
and then friends.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean,
it's Klingons and boyfriends.
It's a string of boyfriends that I've noticed. Like, she gets, they all look the same. Like, she was with Peter Andre, and he's like the most normal out of the lot of them. Like,
I was just saying something.
But like genuinely though, like I do believe that nobody will say no to her, and I do feel sorry for her. Like when I saw that picture, I was like repulsed. I was like, fucking hell. Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the picture, I think she is even repulsed herself. Like, she doesn't look all that happy in the picture. I mean, who would be? They're getting shat on. I mean, there's obviously people out there who like that, and she's
closing her eyes and think anywhere else. Think of the money.
Yeah, think of the money.
Like, she's got to be like
And
I'm not saying that there isn't any women into that, but like she's
yeah.
clearly not a woman who's into that, and
well,
she's just doing it for the money. You know what I mean?
That's it. And I just think it's like you say, like Matthew Perry. I just think they needed people around them to say, look, what you're doing is. You shouldn't be doing it. You don't need more plastic surgery. Your boobs don't need to be any bigger, Matthew. Just
the problem
stop
is
getting
like
boob jobs.
And also, Matthew, let us shot on you.
Yeah, let's shot on you, Matty. But no, I mean, like, I genuinely do believe. Like, when I saw the picture, I felt sick, and I was like, "Why did Ben send me this?"
Twice.
And then I jacked off
and
twice.
And you're like, "How is it my screensaver? What's
like,
happened?
What's happening? Why is this my screensaver now?
Why is it my wallpaper on my PC? I don't understand.
Why can't I walk anymore? Because I've jerked it 7 times over. But like, also, like, one of the things that I was like, who has a poo that looks perfectly formed? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm nearly 40, and I kind of bang a shit out like that, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of fiber, dude. Like, was that prep? Do you know what I mean? Was he doing poo prep before she came? Like, I'm eating all the fiber, don't worry.
She'd be screaming if you shout.
She would, like.
It's everywhere. What happened?
I did say put a sheet down.
It'd be like a brown crime scene.
It'd be like a brown Jackson Pollock, yeah? But yeah, like, honestly, like, it is fun to laugh at, but it is sad.
It's fun to laugh at, but it's also sad. But like, it's also like, we don't really know, because the thing is there's a point where it's like, that a lot of people are like, when the sentiment of like, oh well, maybe she's got anyone around it, but like, she could just be a total fucking dick. You'd even that.
Oh
because you can be the problem is that everyone thinks of everything, like, people think of goodness as binary, and goodness is not binary. So people go like, well, she's a great mother, so therefore she must have these other good qualities. It's like, no, you could be great at something and you can be terrible in every other area of your life. You know what I mean? Because that's her son, so she's like, well, I love my son, so of course I'd never hurt my son. But that doesn't mean she gives a fuck about anything else. I'm not saying she doesn't necessarily, but like, there isn't like this binary for goodness.
Yeah, well, that's
so like, you've got no idea. So it could be like she personally only likes people who are yes men. You know what I mean? Like, if you say no, well, she might be someone who immediately cuts you out of her life, and then you're like, oh well, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but I think that's the thing. Everybody needs somebody in their life to turn around and say like, nah, that's just no. Like, and I mean, I've when someone has said no to me, I'm like, well, fuck you. Do you know what I mean? But then when I've calmed down, like, well, actually, no, they're right. Do you know
that's the problem. I think is I agree. Everyone needs that in their life, but
not everyone will have it.
Not everyone will have it, because you need that bit of fucking introspection to be able to fucking accept the criticism.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And most people won't accept the criticism, and like I say, they'll just go, well, fuck off. Yeah. Like, I didn't need you, and then they'll just not have that person in their life.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh well, they'll just continue fucking up.
Well, that's it.
But I mean, it's like completely unrelated, but they reckon that's like the precursor for a lot of success. Is like, obviously coming from money. Mm-hmm. One of the big things that you're getting from that is that you're around people who are knowledgeable about money.
Yeah. So
they're telling you how to use your money wisely and how to not use your fucking money unwisely. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it.
So it's like, if you're new money, like, it's a thing of like, obviously it's a classic thing, like, oh, what would you do if you had $1 million? But like, we wouldn't know what to do with $1 million.
Well, that's it. I mean, like, I think, you know, because I always say to myself, like, if I made it on YouTube and I was making silly money, I'd invest it, I'd put it in caravans and stuff like that, because they continuously make money, and I'd probably buy a house. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I suppose the reality of it is be like, oh, I want this though. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, that PC's better than mine and it costs 15 grand. I'll get that then. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I do think, because obviously I've got a family, I think myself, well, I need to take care of them, so I'll invest in some things. But there's also the side of us that's like, well, of course I want a fucking 67 Chevy, the exact one from Supernatural, so I'll pay like an extra 40 grand.
You see it all the time though. You see it, like, there's so many. I'm not saying that everyone who doesn't have money would instantly fuck it, because obviously some people do and some people don't. Yeah. But you see it all the time with lottery winners, where lottery winners win a silly amount of money and then it's gone within a year or 2 years.
I mean, I know how they can do it, but also at the same time, I'm like, how can you do it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't get us wrong. I don't think that would happen to you, but I think it's like, you've got to think, if some people are literally fucking dog shit with money, like absolutely horrendous for money and horrendous at maths. Yeah, but like, you can fucking add and take away. There's some people who literally have like failed school. Yeah, and they win the lottery sometimes. You know what I mean? Because the lottery's not about anything other than, did you put the lottery on?
Yeah, well, that's it.
Do you know what I mean? And poor people, like ridiculously poor people, are more inclined to put the lottery on than affable people, like, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, oh yeah,
affable,
definitely.
fucking rich people. Sorry.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you say that all the time. Like, I can't remember that one a few years ago where it was like a really like chavvy guy, and he bought like he just spent it all on hookers and cocaine and loads of jewelry and stuff.
And
like he was like a guy who all of a sudden had a ring on every finger. Yeah. You're like, oh no, come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, I mean, he would have been surrounded by a bunch of people telling him yes all the time and never saying there was an issue with his behavior. So, and look at where he's landing. But it's the same for Jordan or Katie Price, whatever you want to call her. And I do think she needs people in her life that'll say no. So if she wants to be my mate, I'll tell her no every once in a while. you just we'll do the podcast next week, and she sat next to us like, "Hello." I told her fucking like, no.
Oh well, I know I've got no history, but I'll be your fucking monetary advisor.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Don't let that guy shit on you, or if you do, get paid a lot of money.
At least get shit on for $1 million. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't. I think the rumor was like $100,000 to be dumped on by like a Saudi prince or something.
I heard 10 grand.
10. Yeah. Fuck me. It's Jordan Love. 10 grand. Wow. Just no. Wow. That's weird, man.
Is 10 grand that shocking? Because if you think of like OnlyFans, they charge like a $5.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm sure
10 grand's practically fucking, you know, it's so close to
it is
fucking,
a lot of money. Yeah,
£1, it's like 10,000 times the fucking.
Yeah, well, that's it. But like, I'm sure you can't shit on people on OnlyFans. You have to like.
Oh no, I think this was like whoever the guy took the picture was leaked that photo or whatever.
Oh right, okay, no, because you're saying like some people charge $5.99 a month or whatever. So I'm saying like.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying like, you know, my point is like, she'll let you pay £5 to see her completely nude.
Oh yeah, well that's.
And there's multiple pictures, and just like, you know, I mean, I don't fucking follow any OnlyFans, but I've seen OnlyFans before because all that shit's online for free.
Yeah,
they're like. If that's your full-time job, OnlyFans, all you do is take naked pictures of yourself and upload them.
Yeah.
And that, I presume that just goes on ad infinitum, like it just goes on forever. Like you just, after 10 years, if you had 10 years on OnlyFans, you've got way more pictures than... Well, like, so that's it. So then someone like 10 years in, paying that $5 grand, they're getting a steal because there's 10,000 pictures instead of 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, £5 for hundreds and hundreds of naked pictures, like... 10 grand, like not that shocking really, because like,
well, true.
How much are prostitutes probably charging? You know
well, yeah, of course. I mean, I just think the whole thing's mental. I mean, obviously, I think we're a different generation because, like, why would we pay for something that we've been able to get for free since we're like 15? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. Like, simps who will pay all that money for those things. It's just never been something that I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll give you me bank details for $5.99.
I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it for the pictures, just because they all leak online anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know how they go around about fixing that, because like that's not me going like, well, that's the way it should always be. Like, really, they shouldn't be able to leak online, but they can. So, well, yeah. And until that happens, it'll and it's the same with piracy. Like, because films will always leak online, they'll always be watched illegally. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's always just a certain amount that loss that will be made. But it's obviously worth more and like to them to do that. But I still just don't understand how there's like, say, 10,000 people willing to pay someone £5 a month.
Yeah, I definitely.
Just that one individual. But then you think like, much like the guy paying to shit on, like everyone's got a different amount of income and expendable income. Yeah. And then when you've got a much more expendable income, money means a different amount to you. So like, if I'm a millionaire, £5 is pennies.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
So then if you've got all these people who are like, you know, anywhere up to and beyond that, then, you know what I mean? There probably is 10,000 people who are probably, and, you know, Hollywood's proven that everyone who's rich is a pervert anyway, so it wouldn't surprise us. You know what I mean? Like, almost everyone who's rich seems to be a fucking pervert, so that wouldn't surprise us if a bunch of them are signed up to shit.
Oh, well, that's it. I mean, did you see that, I can't remember the name of the guy. He was in, he was in that movie with Johnny Depp. He was a cowboy and Johnny Depp played an Indian or something. What's his name?
Yeah, Lone Ranger.
Yeah, Lone Ranger. The guy in that, he was on Piers Morgan's Uncensored.
Oh God, yeah. I think I fucking wrote his name down. I might have that somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I kind of think it was weird name because I watched that film that he was in Army Hammer.
Army Hammer, there we go. There we go.
I did write that down. I was like, we need to talk
Yeah.
about
I watched that uncensored interview, and now don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
I think the guy is fucking weird, right? 100%. But I also think it's been totally blown out of proportion, the things that he said. I think in, what you call it, kink space or whatever, I think he's into BDSM. I genuinely don't believe he's at somebody before. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, I don't
I
either.
think, like, it's true Geordie all over again. Like, he literally wanted a woman to shit on him or something, and he was like, oh, let's just say the most fucked up things we can say. I think that was the case. Don't get us wrong. I think he's fucking weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's never, ever hurt anybody, like, outside of kink space. I might be wrong, but he seemed convincing.
The point that he was, like, basically saying was, like, you know, he was, like, saying, you know, I said something like, I could eat you up or something like that, and people were just, like, taking it. He's like, well, he's like, I don't think that's any different. I wrote the quote down. I don't think it's any different than when someone looks at a baby and goes, oh, God, look at those cute little fat legs. I just want to eat you up.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is what people do say.
Mm-hmm.
People, like, I don't know if you've ever fucking been around someone with babies, but like people who you fucking
I've done it. Like,
don't even who don't even know your kid. I was gonna say people who don't even know your fucking kids very well. Fucking bite your kids' fucking feet and hands and shit.
Oh, I mean, I've never done it to anybody else's kids, but I mean, I'm like, I'm gonna eat you up, like kind of.
Do you know what I mean?
But like, like
I've seen that loads of times. I'm like I'm sure I've seen it with like a family member where like I'm like, do you know that person that well? I'm just like, not really.
Yeah,
like,
not at all. I just nibbled
like, get your fingers, kids, in that mouth. Like, stop sucking your kids' toes.
Well, that's it.
You just shit on that baby's chest.
Yeah. Oh. Well, they shit on me. I shit on them back. Do you know what I mean? That's messed up, man. I love it. But yeah, I just think like in the Me Too era of bullshit, like there was a lot of misfires, and I think maybe he was a bit of a cunt and he wasn't the greatest of boyfriends, but I think it was all like a kink space thing. And then like he made a point to say like everyone vilified me for that, but then have like the woman who originally leaked it, but have you seen the things that she's wrote about him and his daughter and stuff like that, like saying like, I hope your daughter is just like 8 or something, gets pinned down and raped by like 10 men and stuff like that's just as bad. You know what I mean? But nobody's like pointing a finger at her. It's fucked.
The double standard is like if you're famous, people just care more.
Oh yeah, well that's it. Yeah,
and there's just a massive like portion of people who just because you're famous, they're hating the look. Like, that's a problem with cancel culture a little bit. I think there's a part of cancel culture where it is just based entirely in jealousy. Mm-hmm. Like a big part of it is like there's a big portion who just want you to fail because they don't want you to succeed. Not because they actually think that you're particular. And it's like nobody's good. That's like I said, like talking about earlier, like there's no binary for good and bad, and like nobody's perfect. There's nobody. So like, why would celebrities be perfect?
Yeah, well, that's
it's just we're looking at them under the fucking knife like them. There's loads of stuff most people regret, and I'm not talking about actual hardcore crimes.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about like fucking rape and fucking assault and murder and shit like that. I mean like just like been shitty to people and said horrible things, and like everyone's fucking done that at some point. Everyone was young.
Yeah.
Like everyone was young and stupid and like
make mistakes.
You know what I mean? Like that thing where it was like, you know, I literally don't like Kevin Hart at all, but I don't think he's a bad person or anything. I just don't like him. He's not for me. There's something about him I just didn't like. I can't put my finger on it. I just didn't. I'm not interested in his comedy. I'm not interested in his movies or whatever. But it was like that whole thing when he was gonna. I can't remember what it was. He was gonna host. Was it the Oscars? Yeah. And they were expecting him to apologize for tweets from 10 years ago. It's just like, come on, you know that we grow over time. That's how humans work. We are better 10 years in the future than we were 10 years in the past. Yeah. Typically, like obviously some people go down like bad roads and stuff, but typically you become wiser and fucking and you change. A couple of
gay jokes, wasn't it? That was the issue. Like he made some jokes about gay people.
What it was, but like, I mean, fuck that he made some shit jokes when he was fucking
say gay all the time. Do you know what I mean? And I had a gay best mate in school. And I called him gay all the time, and he was fine with it. And I told somebody this, and like, but maybe he wasn't. Do you ever think that? I was like, he told us to call him it. He's like, he told us to say it. He was like, call us gay, and then his name. And like, okay, I will. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about people being gay or whatever. I always use the word gay.
Someone was kicking off with us on Twitter the other day, and they were like sad enough to go on my profile and like post my profile picture and say that they hope I get raped or something like that, which is quite funny. Because obviously they don't know me, so they don't know that they can't upset me like that. Like it just doesn't work. Like for me, it's just like it's gonna be a good time. Yeah. And then I'd said someone was retarded or whatever, and he's just like, oh, I know you all lot think it's like acceptable to fucking say retarded now, but you couldn't say it 10. I'm like, I never stopped saying retarded, bro.
Same. Never stopped saying it, never stopped saying gay.
I never went quiet, I never stopped, like, people are like, oh yeah, is now saying that it's acceptable, but it wasn't acceptable 10 years ago. I'm like, no, I was like the thing is it's always binary thinking. So they think that if I believe in progressive ideas for like government, they're like, oh, you're a lefty wokey, and I'm like, no, I just think that things should be fairer. I still don't mind people saying retard though.
Oh yeah, well that's it. Yeah,
like two things can be true at the same time. They can be, you know.
You can be like all for trans rights, but also turn around and say faggot. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's just fun.
I'm completely for trans rights, but then I still find like trans like based puns hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, my daughter's autistic, so what? I'm never gonna laugh about jokes about autism. Like, just no, man, just. Fucking, I'll see gay. I mean, even
I'm literally diagnosed ADHD, and I'm probably autistic. And it's like most fucking ADHD information's incorrect. But if it's funny, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's
like when there's like, oh, you have ADHD. Oh, look, a squirrel. I'm like, oh, that's like fucking so lazy. But I'm like, am I gonna be online upset about it? How dare you? I'm like, no, it's a funny meme. You know what I mean? Like it is.
Life's too short, man. It really is. Like, and I mean,
but everyone's like,
when George Floyd died, like, even my daughter was like, you can't say these things. You can't. It's not fair. I was like, well, I can. I can say the word gay. It doesn't mean that I hate gay people. And now she says it too. I was like, oh, did you have a good day? She's like, nah, it's gay. I was like, well, fair enough.
School's gay.
School's gay. Like, and it's got nothing to do with people being gay. It's just that's what we said as kids. Gay people like fucking go gay rights. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you can talk, you can joke about anything, and the problem is that people who are like upset about that one thing, like they take that personally, but they'll laugh at all the other fucking jokes. And then one of the things that I hate is that jokes are literally subjective.
Yeah.
So like, I hate Joe Rogan as a comedian. Like, I think he's fucking terrible. Like, objectively, I think he's fucking terrible. I don't think he's ever made... Actually, no, I've said it before on the podcast. There's one clip of him from literally 15 years ago that I thought was funny.
Right.
And it's like one clip, and it's him dealing with a heckler. But otherwise, I just don't think he's funny at all. But objectively, he is the most successful comedian on the planet.
Right.
Because his podcast is the biggest podcast ever. And he gets Netflix specials, and he sells out 10,000 seat fucking auditoriums for his stand-up thing.
Never seen any of it.
So I don't think he's funny, and I don't like his stand-up, but he's still he's still a comedian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. And that's the thing is, people go, so if I say a joke and they go, well, it's not funny, and I'm like, well, you don't think it's funny? They go, no, nobody thinks it's funny. Like, no, you don't think it's funny. Yeah. Or like maybe you and your friends don't think it's funny, but if somebody else thinks it's funny, or one of my friends thinks it's funny, then it's still, and my intention was for it to be funny.
Yeah.
It's still subjectively funny whether you want that to be like true or not. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Well, if I do a stand-up special and it's just me saying the N-word for a fucking hour, like obviously I deserve all the hate and backlash for it. But if I was earnestly being funny and some people thought it was funny, it was still technically funny.
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah.
I mean? Well, and there would be something inherently funny about someone so fucking unhinged that they went and just willing to put themselves out there and no doubt get fucking chinned for it. You know what I mean? Deservedly so. But you know what I mean? Like,
that's it.
That's what free speech is. You're not free from consequence, but you are free to say what you want.
Well, I mean, on YouTube, I obviously make reaction videos, and I made a joke about Trump, and someone kicked off in the comments, and I just ignored it. And then the next video, the same person, I made a joke about Joe Biden, and they commented how hilarious it was. How hilarious it was. And I went, so why wasn't the Trump joke funny? He said you shouldn't be making jokes about Donald Trump. Yeah. But it's the reality of it is they don't think that is funny because they love Trump and they don't love Joe Biden. So I said something about Joe Biden always being asleep or something. Sleepy Joe, I called him. Sleepy something Joe, like that, yeah? And the same person commented like, that was really funny. But I was like, but so how come the Trump joke wasn't funny then? And then he went on this long tirade about how Trump was going to fix the world and blah, blah, blah. I was like, it was still a fucking joke. Whether you believe that or not, it was just a joke. Chill the fuck out. That's the thing.
That's what it is, though. It's literally that where they're like, well, I've decided that's not a joke. And it's like, no, you've decided it's not funny to you, and that's
you don't
fine,
like it,
and you're entitled to that. You don't have
banging
to
a keyboard in anger because
but yeah, you want to say like, you can't say that. So yeah, this kid was like obviously trying to fucking go off. Oh, it was because we're talking about Dead Rising, because obviously the Dead Rising remaster's happening, and they've taken out a feature where in game you can take pictures, and they've kept that in, but basically it would score you on what was in the frame of the picture. So now, like, obviously if a zombie's head's exploding, that would be brutal, and then obviously if there's some boobs on show, it would say erotica, and they're taking out the erotica thing, and like a lot of people are like, oh, it's bullshit and it's censoring and blah blah blah, and it's like, it is censoring, like literally, right? I understand literally their point. But I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because as someone who's played like hundreds of hours, because one of the things I said was like, oh, I've played hundreds of hours and I don't give a shit because it's such a small feature. And he's like, oh, well, if you've played hundreds of hours, then what you say must be. And I'm like, no, it's still just an opinion.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is, as someone who's played 100 hours and hundreds of hours of that game, start to finish multiple times, like on most fucking platforms it's available on, it's such like, if you had to give the game a percentage of everything you can do in the game, it's 1% of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's one mission with fucking Ken where it's like, is it Kendo? Or Ken? My mind's going blank now. Ken, yeah. So fucking, I'm thinking of a kendo stick for some reason.
Yeah, Kendo's a Capcom thing as well, but yeah, anyway.
Anyway, yeah, so like it's that one mission with fucking Ken, and they're like, obviously I don't know what happens with that mission or how they've changed that or whatever. But he is still in the game because I've seen someone literally show a picture of with the new upscaled graphics and said, I'll let you see that mission for yourself. Like, you didn't want to spoil it. So they have obviously probably changed that mission. But the erotica thing itself, probably less than 1% of the game.
Yeah,
and then the Ken mission, maybe 2 or 3%. So maybe 3% of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember what he does. I know he's the photographer, isn't he? Like, he turns psycho at the end.
He's a photographer that's turned psycho, but he wants, like, progressively worse pictures, I think. You know what I mean? Like, he wants them more violent and more shocking. And it's a bit like, is it that Nightcrawler film? Like, he's willing to do whatever just to get the picture sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying that you're shit and an old man and stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, you see, you've played, how many times have you played Dead Rising? And you're like, and I'm like that, I barely remember that mission because it's like one mission in like a bunch of missions. It was a side character that you can completely skip. He's like completely optional.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Like, it adds so little.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's bad or good, but like, this guy was just like, oh, well, if you've said that, fuck you, and then goes on my profile and gets me photograph. It's like trying to like insult
all
us.
the effort it took to download your picture and then fucking comment. I mean,
and I can't remember what he said.
Stupid,
but he said something about wrestling. He was like, "Oh, I bet you've got loads of opinions on wrestling because I like wrestling." He was just like, "Oh, I'm sure you've got loads of unique opinions on the Attitude Era," and I was like, I don't have any opinions on the Attitude Era. I was 14 when the Attitude Era happened. It was a good time. That's my only opinion. Like, I enjoyed that era of wrestling. And he's like, "Oh, you're one of those people who fucking probably kicked off about this and said some like unique situation in wrestling, like, but it was like politics outside of wrestling that involved wrestlers, and I had no idea what that fucking was." And I was just like, and he said, "And you probably hate Kane because the wrestler who plays Kane is also like an ex-governor somewhere in America."
Yeah.
And he's a bit of like, he's turned into a bit of like a hateful guy or whatever. And I said something like, "Oh, well, yeah, I don't know anything about that, but the guy who played Kane," I was like, "But he is retarded."
Yeah.
And then he was just like, "Oh, and you're lot fucking saying that you think it's okay to say retarded now, but you wouldn't say it like 2 years ago." I'm like, "Fucking, are you kidding?"
Yeah. I grew up on that shit. Like, it's my first word.
We say it every day. You know what I mean? You know, people have a morning routine. I go in the mirror and I'm like, retard. Brush my teeth.
Morning faggot. That's how I start my day.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Right? Just so ridiculous.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this thing of like, but that's the problem. And people go, like, you know, they go like, "Oh, you're woke, you," and nobody knows what that fucking means. And they go, "You've got like." Basically, if I like Trump and I disagree with what you say, apparently I can just say that you've got the woke mind virus and that means something. It means nothing.
That's it.
It means, what's the woke mind virus that, like,
you have it?
I think that so I think there should be benefits for all people. Oh, you're a wokey,
you're a wokey, yeah.
It's like those guys who go around and interview people at Trump rallies and ask them really basic questions.
Yeah. And they can't give any answers.
They can't give fucking any answer.
Yeah, I mean, that video yesterday, I know it's not a Trump thing, but did you see the bloke, I wanted to be, I could have been a doctor. Like, also, when did you leave school? Well, I left at year 9 and I didn't have any education, but they stopped me from being a doctor. Like, mate, no, you're just racist, man.
Obviously, we're probably worth talking about. Obviously, we just had a bunch of riots in the UK.
Yes, we did, yeah.
Over racism and nothing else, really.
Yep.
Racism and nothing else. Basically, a guy who was of colour, black, I think. I don't think I've seen a picture of him.
Yeah.
Anyway, 17 years old or whatever. Born in the UK, grew up in the UK, completely British, but his parents are of Rwandan descent.
Yeah.
he killed some schoolgirls
Some
at
kids,
a Taylor Swift dance thing, which is fucking disturbing as fuck.
Yeah.
And obviously he's
Taylor
a
Swift
scumbag,
dancing,
and rightly so.
nah, it's disturbing.
Listening to Taylor Swift.
But seriously,
one of life's true punishments.
Yeah.
No, but like actual horrible thing, and then because the media didn't fucking know his descent quick enough people jumped to conclusions that it was like, oh, it's fucking Muslims and people on boats. So then all the white, bald, English top-wearing dickheads that you could imagine, like the kind of classic stereotypes, went out and just started trashing a bunch of cities and, like, you know, stealing from Greg's and stealing from, like, the lush bath place where it's like you buy your bath bombs and your bath sets and that. And
those poor kids, I'm getting a sausage roll. Like, make it make sense, man. You're just cunts.
That kid with a fucking tray of frozen steak bakes.
I hope he goes to prison for like 5 years for that.
And she's like, now we've got no lecky on. Why the fuck would we be able to cook these, you daft cunt?
No, that's it. Like, ridiculous. Absolutely mental. And
just
I mean,
opportunistic thugs.
It had nothing to do with those kids. It had everything to do with cunts being cunts. And I mean, it is retarded. The
Gav showed us a video on Saturday. He's like, did you see this video of the fucking one of the marchers? I went, no. Watch this, and it's some guy walking through the street, and he's interviewing people at this march. But you pass it, like they're just walking through one of the streets, and they pass like a back lane, and you just see on camera, it's just like this, like, watch them. That what are they doing? And he looks down the back lane, and there's a couple, and they're just like doing fucking coke. And I'm like, because they're getting coked up to riot.
Yeah.
Like, you're not smashing coke for a peaceful riot, are you?
God,
you know what I mean? You're not like fucking sniffing off a key for a fucking peaceful time, are you? You're like, how can I get hyped up and smash some
doing
windows,
some Charlie for them kids? Like, but you know the kids' names? No. Well, but they got stabbed. Yeah, the
what
died. Yeah. So that's why I need steak bakes and some crops.
It's terrible what happened to them girls. And you're like, what happened to them girls? Oh, well, the fucking guy killed them, didn't he? Oh, but what happened? Or like, where were the girls and what was the reason behind it? Do you know anything about it? Yeah, fucking Muslim, fucking
Islamic
bastards.
ray gangs. Like, no, you're just fucking deluded, man. And I mean, Andrew Tate did the same thing. He posted out like, oh yeah, he was a Muslim or something to that effect. You know what I mean? And it was misinformation, and he still refused to apologize for it.
Yeah, well, and then you've got like fucking Stephen Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
And he's like in a fucking villa in Tenerife, fucking tweeting out little hate videos, telling people to rile up. And it's like, you're too scared to even come back to the country.
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean,
Like,
he's the biggest
that-
scam going because people pay him to fucking live out there. Do you know what I mean? I can't come back and I need your help. And like, fuck off, man. You're just a racist.
Why does
cunt.
nobody say anything about his name? Why does no one ever go like, why do you think he changed his name from a posh sounding name? He's trying to appeal. Literally fucking like aggressive
Tommy
dickheads.
is like a proper racist man's name. Like
That is like, what is the most racist generic looking name?
Tommy.
You know what I mean? That you could think of was that.
Yeah, like what are you going to call him, Tommy? What's he going to be when he's older? Racist. Like that's what I hope. Do you know what I mean? Like the only thing he's missing is the swastika tattoos. Like he's a grade A cunt.
But that's one of the videos that came up. It was a guy, obviously, and he's got his top off for some reason. And he's not the kind of person, I'm not here to body shame, but as an obese man myself, I'm like, that's not a guy who should have his top off.
Nah,
but he had his top off, he's covered in tattoos, and he had the swastika on his shoulder.
Of course he did.
And people are good. And then people are saying in the fucking comments with the irony, but isn't that the fucking Indian peace sign? Fuck off, man.
Nah.
Fuck off. Of course he's fucking racist.
Yeah.
Of course he's using it as a
he
swastika.
just really likes Indians.
Do you really think that guy likes Indians?
Yeah,
like
fuck
fucking, and do you think that guy knows anything about Indian culture outside of I've had a curry?
Yeah.
Like, fuck me. Was that Alexa talking?
Yeah, well, somebody's at the front door. I've made that Australian just because it's nicer than the English version. It just sounds so prissy.
Stop looking at my package, mate.
So you've got a bloody delivery, mate. So yeah, it'd probably be me daughter's pants or something for school. Something like that.
But just like, what the fuck? People like trying to argue that that's like not a racist symbol.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
What I don't get though as well is like I don't understand the Nazi flag being co-opted in like the UK.
Yeah.
In particular, because like we were literally bombed by the Nazis, like, you know what I mean? Like they were like flying over our country and dropping bombs, and we're like,
well, that's it.
I don't understand how that would be in your mind. You'd be able to signify that taking the country back.
Yeah.
When they were the most oppressive fucking regime in the entirety of history.
Absolutely insanity.
Outside of obviously England, we were pretty oppressive.
Oh yeah, well we're like
but you know what I mean? Like, But like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like it was a world war, and like that was like we used to kill people who wore Nazi fucking symbols.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know why you would be like, and still should.
Yeah.
So like, why would you like in the UK willingly get that tattoo?
No.
Like, I
mean,
don't get it. Like,
does? I mean, it must be a racist tattoo shop somewhere. Do you know what I mean? You have to go to a specialist shop to get that, because if you walked in a tattoo shop and I want the swastika, I mean, surely tattoo artists be like, nah, you cunt.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
So there must be like someone who's like, I'm going to be a tattoo artist, but only for racists like me.
Tattoo shops have changed massively. So tattoo shops used to be like a hard nutter bloke who wasn't very good at tattoos, but he just had the tattoo shop and he just did tribal and fucking England flags and shit like that.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's really excelled into much more of an art form than it ever has.
Yeah.
And most tattoo shops, the people that you see in them are like people like me and you, and like, you know, like there's a lot of tattoo shops where it's just very demure fucking women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you know for a fact you go to those shops, there's no way they're gonna be letting you get fucking hateful shit.
Yeah.
If they know that.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a thing in the past where it was like, oh yeah, he's a racist, so go to that guy for your racist tattoos.
Yeah, man.
But then some people still do tattoos dodgy. Like I know a guy now who goes and gets his tattoos done at some guy's bedroom.
Oh, no.
Like I used to work with this guy, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'll go to my mate's house and he does them in his bedroom. I'm thinking that's not sanitary.
I've always wanted a tattoo, right? But I'm so like picky. Like every week I change my mind. Now I'm set in stone what I 100% want now, but it's took me till I'm 38 to do that. Like I want a sleeve of the Turtles because like looking back as a kid, that was like my only happy moments were when I was playing Turtles or watching the Turtles. And like I'm recently watching the 1980s Turtles cartoon, and I'm just like, I really love the Turtles, and I want so I'm going to get them done, but I'm so picky with who I'll let do it. Like, and I cannot believe there's people who just walk to somebody's house and be like, I do this for us, mate. Like, nah, it's on your skin forever.
As someone who actually has got a bunch of shit tattoos, I would say make sure you go to a really good artist, and they've got say like an Instagram that you can look at a lot of their recent work and stuff, and make sure it's consistently good across different art styles, or if they do that unique style, make sure it's consistently good on that. And ultimately, although it's expensive, it's worth paying more to have a better thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I hate the majority of my tattoos. So because they're shit.
Yeah.
Whereas Lottie is paid. She pays some lass a lot more money than you'd normally pay. Like her hourly rate's more expensive, but all of her tattoos are class.
Right.
Like,
yeah. So they'll
hold
really,
up
really
better
good.
over time and stuff. And
well, that's what I want. I mean,
whereas mine are all thick and shit and bleed out and look terrible. And
I mean, I don't think they look terrible. Like I think they suit you. Do you know what I mean? Like. When I see you, I'm like, oh, those tattoos suit you.
You're just used to them, that's all.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. But like, I want colour Turtles, like, obviously green and all up my arm, sleeve, and like Casey Jones and all that. So it's going to cost a lot of money, but I finally now know what I want. Do you know what I mean? Because I was always like, oh, I'll just get the supernatural ones. I'm like, that's just fucking lazy. Everybody's got that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I finally decided I just got to obviously book a date.
You need the fucking, what's the supernatural tip title?
The anti-possession charm, yeah. I mean, I'm working on my chest, like, so, I can actually move my chest now, which I'm impressed. I can actually move it. There's still moob there, do you know what I mean? I can just,
but you can juggle them now.
I can juggle them without touching them. So, I'm working on it, and I want to get that, but, like, ideally, I want to get all the turtle stuff done first, like, because I just love the turtles to bits. But anyway,
you're just gonna get all 4 turtles with a swastika.
Oh yeah, every single one's gonna have a swastika on their forehead because I love the turtles, but I'm also
Teenage
racist.
Mutant Nazi Turtles.
Oh God, heroes in the Third Reich, white power. That's why I was laughing, because it came to my head, but I couldn't say it for laughing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Right. Well, that seems like the perfect place.
On that note. What's it again? David, shoot kids. Is that what I say? Just don't shoot kids unless they're Nazis. Do you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
The words "heroes in the Third Reich," though, like that's never been uttered before. Not by someone who isn't racist, anyway. Jesus Christ.